Listen in to what the governor is saying tonight.
Happening right before us. The lieutenant governor talked about it. In the city of Milwaukee over the last 8 years, unemployment has gone up by 28%. Do we want to go back to that? No! Or instead, do we take the reforms that we built together to move Wisconsin forward, so much so that the unemployment rate is the lowest it's been since 2008? Where do you say we go? Go forward. Do we go backwards to the time when 2 years ago when Jim Doyle was the governor? You're getting ahead of yourself here. When Jim Doyle was the governor and employers were surveyed across the state and only 10% said we were heading the right direction, do we want to go back to that? No! Or instead, do we want to take the positive reforms we put in place?
Well, we apologize. We're losing the governor's signal there, but
heading in the right
now
direction.
We have it again.
Which way do we want to go?
Let's go back to the governor and listen in a bit more.
Do we want to go back? Do we want to go back to the days when years ago, when Jim Doyle was in control and Wisconsin had an average property tax increase of over $220 million? Do we want to go back to that? No. Or would we rather go forward with reforms that helped us lower property taxes for the first time in 12 years? Which way should we go? Forward. You got it right. On issue after issue, we don't want to go back to the days when manufacturers had to pay more for taxes than they do today. Instead, we want to build on those reforms that help lower the tax burden because of the budget we signed into law, so that manufacturers are some of the fastest growing jobs in the country right here in Wisconsin. I say we want to go forward to move on in Wisconsin. Do we want to go backwards to the days when we're going to rehash the debate we've had over the past year? No! I don't either. I want to take the positive reforms that we put in place that have saved the taxpayers more than $1 billion at the state and the local level. And where are we going to go with those? Forward. And most importantly, do we want to go back to the days when a handful of special interests controlled our state and our local governments? No, instead, we put in place reforms that rightfully put the hard-working taxpayers of Wisconsin in charge. We're not going backwards, we're going forward.
And that was Governor Scott Walker tonight talking about his win from Milwaukee.